Hey there, welcome back to Tube channel. Today we are going to develop this beautiful Pinterest clone application, and this application is completely responsive and user friendly. Also, we will learn a lot of technology. This app completely built on Next.js 13, React, Tailwind CSS, Firebase, NextAuth, and so on. So watch this complete video and let me walk through this application first, and then we'll talk about the technology which we are going to use in this particular course. So if you see, right, once you land on this page, you will see this beautiful grid option where you can open any of the pins which you want to see, right? For example, if I open this particular pin, you will see the beautiful view, right? You can even open the URL along with this one. Okay, also if you want to create a new post, right, for obviously you have to log in first. So with the help of Google authentication, we add the login functionality, and once you log in, you can able to access your profile pin as well, right? Here you will create a new pins. You will have option to upload image, add all the details required for this particular post. Also, you can go to your profile, and here you will see all your pins which you created before. Okay, sounds cool, right? So this complete application we are going to build with the help of Next.js 13 and React. And with the help of Tailwind CSS, we are gonna style this application, and we store this all the data on Firebase, Firestore, and the storage, which is completely free. Okay, you will not find the course like this anywhere on the internet. So watch this complete video, and we'll see you in next. So to build this Pinterest clone application, we are gonna use a React framework, which is the Next.js, and currently is the most popular framework in the market. And we are gonna use Next.js 13 in this course. Then we are gonna use Firebase to store the data and the images as well. Okay, so Firebase is completely free to use, and we are gonna use with the Next.js. And you will not find this course anywhere on the internet. So watch that one. Then for styling, we are gonna use Tailwind CSS, which is the one of the best UI framework in the market right now. Okay, and if you don't know how to use Tailwind CSS, don't worry, I'm gonna teach you everything. Okay, then for the authentication, we wanna use NextAuth.js, which is the best authentication for Next.js, and how to use NextAuth with the Next.js 13. I'm gonna teach you in this particular course. Okay, and last but not the least, we're gonna use the React icon. I will teach you how to use these beautiful React icons. Okay, so you don't need to save any assets. For you, with the help of React icons, you can implement a bunch of different icons in your application. Okay, so guys, watch this complete video, and if you did not subscribe to my channel, please subscribe to my channel, and please share this video with your friends, family. Watch complete video, and if you have any doubt, any question, put in the comment section. And the source code of this particular one is in the description, so you can check it out anytime. But try this Pinterest clone, and it's quite interesting, and various technologies you will learn in this particular course. So watch it, and without doing any further delay, let's begin. So in this particular tutorial, we are going to use Next.js 13. Okay, and if you don't know about the Next.js 13 or Next.js, don't worry, we will learn it from everything from the scratch. If you go to the official website of nextjs.org, you will find this particular command in order to create the project. Okay, so just copy this command and go to a project folder where you want to create the project. Then open the CMD, and then just type the command which you pasted. Okay, so like this. So npm create dash next dash app at the latest. Okay, at the latest will help you to create a Next.js 13 application, along with give some option to select manually. If I click enter, then it will ask the project name. So in this case, we will do Pinterest clone. Okay, I will do like this, and then it will ask you to use the TypeScript with this project, right? We are going to use TypeScript for this project. Then would you like to use ESLint? I will say no. then like to use Tailwind CSS this project, say yes. So you don't need to manually add the Tailwind CSS with this, right? This particular command to create the next application at the latest will help you to install Tailwind CSS as well. Okay, say yes. And it's saying you would like to use source directory with this project, say no. And use app router, say yes. And would like to customize the default import alias, so no. Okay, now if you see, right, this all the things are getting these are the dependency getting installed for the application. So we'll wait for a few seconds.
A few minutes later.
Now our project is created. Okay, now let's go to a project by typing cd and the name of the project. So in this case is Pinterest. Sorry. Okay, and then open the VS Code, right, using the command code space dot. Okay, and with the help of that one we open our project in VS Code along with all the files. Okay, perfect. Now let's me explain the project structure. Okay, so here at very first we have this app folder, right? And inside the app folder we have global css, layout.tsx, and page.tsx. Tsx is stand for the TypeScript XML. Okay, now if you know the Next.js, okay, so before it was underscore app.js instead of layout.tsx. Okay, otherwise it's quite similar. Okay, but we created the project, we will learn more about that one. Okay, so in layout .txx, okay, you will see this metadata, and then you will see this body tag, and inside the body tag we have children. Okay, so children nothing but the page we are going to render in between that one. Okay, and there's nothing else. Okay, when we start developing the project, then we will learn much better. Okay, next we have page.tsx, which is our default page. Okay, right now. And the routing is quite easy, you don't need to do any configuration for that one. So we will learn that one as well. After that we have node modules. Okay, we will ignore that part. Then we have public folder where we will store all our assets like image, video, music, whatever we want to store, we will store in public folder. Okay, then we have d.ts file. Okay, it just to it's a new file for this particular one, and it's an environment kind of file. Then we have next.config.js where we will put the all configuration for our application. Okay, so regarding the next js. Then we have the packet.json. Okay, and which contain the dependency and everything. The post css and tailwind config.js is used for the tailwind css, right? And if you see the where need to apply this tailwind css classes, that path is defined here. If you are doing some manually, you are adding some new folder, make sure you have to add it here in order to apply the tailwind css. Okay, and then last is typescript config.json. Okay, so first of all, let's go to terminal. Inside VS Code, click new terminal, and let's run the project. So just type npm run dev. Okay, and if you see, our project is running on the localhost 3000 port. Okay, so let's open this port, and it's loading. So we'll wait for a few seconds. And if you see, our project is loaded. Okay, let me show you the code and associated view for this one, right? So if you go to the app, right, and if you see here in page.tsx, right, here you will see this code. Okay, so get started by editing. So you'll see get started by editing, right? So this is our default page which called page.tsx. Okay, so right now I don't want this code, so what I will do, I will remove this everything. Okay, like this, and just put a simple empty tag like this. Okay, and inside that I will put h2 tag like type to Tube Guruji. Okay, if you do not subscribe to Tube Guruji, please do subscribe and save it. Now you'll see subscribe to Tube Guruji channel. Right now, interesting part you will see here. You'll see these lines. Right. The reason is if you go to the global CSS, right, in this root folder, they added the start RGB and end RGB. Right, it's give the gradient kind of effect. Right, and we don't want that one. So remove that one. Okay, along with you can remove this one you don't want it, and like this. And if you see, our page is completely clean, and that's where we will start our application to develop from the scratch. Okay. Now if you see the Pinterest website, right, you will see the header section. Okay, we can call navigation bar, and in that we have logo, some buttons, search bar, user image, this message icon and everything, right? And then we have the list of all the pins, we can say, all the posts that which user posted, right? So we will divide this application into small components, so in order to implement, right? Also, if I go any of this particular post, right, you will see this navigation bar keep constant throughout the application. Okay, so that's what we need to implement. Okay, so let's go back to our application first. Okay, I will open here, and here I will create a new folder called components. Okay, so let's call components. Okay, and inside this component I will call header.tsx file. Okay, so header.tsx. Okay, and here we will add the template. So if you did not watch my previous video, okay, please do what, because in my previous video every time in the application I informed told user to add this beautiful extension called react ES7 plus. Okay, so this extension will help you to write the code much faster. Okay, so make sure you will install this VS Code extension. So what it will do, if you type RFC, which is a React function export component, right, and enter it, you will see this beautiful template created by the extension, right? Without doing or writing any code, it will automatically generate for you. Okay, so you don't need to write every time, right? So that's the reason, make sure you import that particular extension. Now our header is component is ready, right? Save it. Now if you go to the layout.tsx, here we will import that header component. The reason is we want to use that header throughout the application. Okay, so that's the reason we will put it in the header. So what I will do, because in children our component is getting not component but our page is getting rendered, right? And here I will add the header, and make sure you import it the header from the component. Okay, and then save it. As soon as save it, you will see the header is displaying on the screen. Okay, perfect. Now let's go back to header and just write, just start implementing it. Okay, so if I go to this Pinterest website, right, let's go back to home page, you will see this beautiful header section, right? So I already added the logo.png file in my public folder. Okay, now we also want to use these icons, right? So what you have to do, go to the React icons, this official website of the React icons. Okay, and here just copy this command in order to install it in your project, right? And then I will explain you how to use it. First of all, go to the project and paste it in your terminal. Okay, now here you will see the bunch of different type of icon where you can use it, right? If I go to the hero icon, and if you see, right, different type of bunch of icon, you will find it. You can just go copy it, this name of the icon, and paste it, right? And make sure to import this particular statement. Okay, now let's start implementing the header. So first of all, we want to show the logo. Okay, so let me open the project side by side as well. Okay, so here first of all let's add the image, right? So in this case we will add the image from the next slash image. Okay, and if you know about the image HTML tag, it's similar to like that one, only the image tag we are importing from the next image. Okay, and then we have to provide the source. Okay, so source from the local public folder only. So I can do like logo.png. Okay, and then we have to give some properties like alt tag. So in this case I will write logo, and then I will also mention the width, okay, of 50, height of 50. Okay, and save it. And if you see, logo is displaying on the screen. Okay, now if you go back here, and if you'll see, right, on a hover we'll see this gray color, right, on hover. So we'll implement that that one as well. So what we can do, class name to this one, and over here just write on hover, right? So in Tailwind CSS, it's very easy to implement that one, right? On hover, we can change the background color to gray, and this is the color code, right? See, if I open like this, and you will see the bunch of different type of color combination, right? So in this case, I will select this 300, and if you hover on this one, you will see the CSS property. This is how in CSS we can return, but with the Tailwind CSS, it's just few line of, means just one line of code, right? Then let's give some padding to p2. Okay, and if I hover on it, see, it's coming, right? But we want the circular, so what we can do, just make rounded to be full. Okay, and so let me put it like this, rounded to be full, and I will make the cursor to be pointer. Okay, and if I hover on it, see how easily, efficiently it's hovering. Okay, perfect. Now let's add the some buttons. Okay, so if you go to Pinterest, we have this button called home, explore, create, right? So we will add home and create. So let me add that one as well. So, oh, sorry. So let me bring this here like this. Okay, then we will add these two buttons. So let's add button. So the first button is home, and the second is to create. Then we want to add the input as well. Okay, so you can add the input button as well. So input text, okay, division. And if you see right here, let me open it, this the search bar, right? We have this logo as well and the search icon, right? And we can take this logo from the icons, right? So if I search, so I'm using this high search, right? And I'm using this hero icons. Okay, so let me bring this bigger size, and here you can add this icon. So I will add high search like this. Okay, and make sure to import this statement as well, right? So I will import it. I'm using this high bill and chart icon as well, okay, from the same. Then after that one, let's add the input. Okay, so input of type text. Okay, and I will add the placeholder as a search. And after that, two more icon I'm going to add. So first is high bill. Okay, and the second is the high chart. Okay, and lastly, we want to show the image of the user, right? So if you go back here, we want to show this image, right? And if you see, right, however we are getting this effect as well, so we will add that one. So let's see, image source. Okay, and I already have this image in the public folder, right? Man.png, so you can access it through the source code. Give the alt tag like user image, give width of 50 and height of 50. Okay, and same class name I will add it here as well, like this. It will be class name, and save it. Now if you go back to our application, it will look like this. Okay, now let's bring everything in one line. Before that, we will add the styling to each of them. Okay, so first of all, let's add the styling for this button. So just write class name, we want the background of black color, so I will add black, and text need to be white. Okay, after that I will give some padding to 2. Okay, and let's see how it looks. So see, okay, now let's make the corner to be rounded. Okay, let me bring this side by side, and I will make, sorry, I'll make the rounded be full. Okay, and also what I will do, I will give the some padding on the x-axis to be 4. Okay, like this. Okay, same class I will apply it for the create. Only thing is I will remove this black background and white text. Okay, like this, and I will add the font here to semi bold, like this. Now these are the ready. Let's uh, give styling to this input search box, right? So here I will add the class name, okay, background, and I have the color code already, right? So in order to use the your own custom color code, right, you have to write the value in a bracket, okay, not only the background but everywhere else, okay. So like this, so hash and the color code, okay, and if I save it, you will see the color code as well. So let's give some padding to 3, okay, and what I want these two things in one line, right? Okay, so actually we will put this bale chart and image outside of this div, like this. Good. Then I will add the flex and I will add the gap of 3. So gap of 3 means the distance between these two, right? Now if you go to the tailwind css, okay, let me go to tailwind css, okay, and if you open it, right, and if you want to search anything, okay, how to use the particular thing, for example, if you want to gap, what is gap, right, you can just search it and then you will find it how to use it. Okay, let me search gap, open it and see, okay, so it will explain you how it works. Okay, so it give the distance between two items, okay, as simple as that. So that's the reason I give the gap of 3, and I will make item to be center, so it will become vertically to be center. Okay, and let's make the rounded corner to be full, like this. Okay, and we add the padding, everything looks good. So, and what we will do, let's add some styling to this search bar. So add class name, okay, so this search icon act like a text only, so let's give the same property like a text. Okay, so if you see, right, I give the text value, but you can give the inbuilt tailwind css text value like 5, oh sorry, 5 xl, 2 xl, like this, right? But you can also give the custom value like 25 pixel, which is similar to the css, and if you hover on it, you will see the font size of 25 pixel. Okay, and then I will change the color of this one to text to be gray 500, like this. Okay, perfect. Then for this input, right, first thing we want to make this transparent. I don't want the white, right? So let's add class name, bg background and transparent. Okay, and if you hover, so you will see the property background color transparent, like this. Okay, and let's save it. Perfect. If I click on it, right, you will see this border. We don't want that border as well, so just write outline none and save it. Okay, perfect. Also I will change the bell icon size, so text to be 40 pixel and text gray 500, color of that one, like this. I will copy the same for this chart icon. Perfect. Now if I open it, right, it's showing vertically right now. Okay, now let's bring everything horizontally. So for this uh, parent div, add class name and let's write flex. Okay, as soon as you write flex, everything will be in one line, right? Now let's give some gap between the items, so I will say gap of 3, and I will make sure that item to be vertically be center. Okay, and see how it looks. See, okay, so if you see, we have some padding all around. All right, so let's give padding of 6, for example, and see, it looks good, right? But if you see, right, search bar is acquiring the whole the full size of the screen, right? So very easy for this particular search bar div, right, we have this div here, just write it to be full and save it. As soon as it to be fully saved, see, our header is almost complete. Okay, and if you see, this one is similar to this one, the icon little bit changed because we are using some different icons, but that's fine. The main point is we got the header similar to the Pinterest. Okay, perfect. Here I made some few changes. So if you go to here, right, and if I decrease the screen size, right, it automatically remove the search bar, right. It's similar, it's kind of similar to this one. Okay, if I go to the inspect panel, okay, and if I decrease the size, you will see this one, right, So I have actually changed the size, the layout, and everything. Okay, similar kind of things I did it here. It's quite easy. Many times we did this before as well in my tutorial, right? So here first thing, when the screen size is smaller, I made the gap of 3, or if screen size is medium, I made gap of 2. And then for this search bar view, right, hiding means I put the class called hidden when the screen size is smaller, and when the screen size is medium, we will showing it as a flex. Okay, and outside that I added this search bar. It only display when the screen size is smaller, otherwise on all other screen it will be hidden. Okay, so this few tricks I added in this one. Okay, if you have in face any issue, you can always check the source code, and the link is in the description. Now let's implement the Google authentication using NextAuth. Okay, so for that one, we are using NextAuth. Okay, and which is the best and easiest way to add the authentication in our Next.js application. As we are using Next.js 13 version, right, for the Next.js, it's little bit different to implementation, and you will not find anywhere on the YouTube how to add Next authentication in Next.js 13 very easily. Okay, so first of all, go to the nextauth.js, this website. Okay, and just say get started. Here you will see these steps to follow, right? You have to install this nextauth first. So then copy this command and go to your project folder and paste it here and click enter. So it will install for you. Okay, then you have to come down, and then you have to add this API route. Okay, so if you see, right, if you are using the normal nextauth .js, so you have to add this, you have to create this file in pages folder slash API folder slash auth folder, and then you have to create this file. Okay, and then you have to paste this all of this code. But if you are using Next.js 13.2 or above version, then we have to follow some different step. As we are using the Next.js 13, right, then we have to follow this router handler guide. Okay, so click on this guide, and here you will see how to add that. Okay, so first of all, if you see, right, in the app folder we have to create API folder. Inside that we have create auth folder and next auth folder. Okay, so let's go to our application. Let me bring this here, and inside the app folder, first I will create the API folder. Inside that I will create another folder called auth, then copy this name of the folder, and inside auth only I have to create this folder. Okay, and then inside that we'll create a route.js folder. Okay, and then we have to paste this line of code like this. Okay, just paste it. Now we want to use the Google authentication, correct? So go back here and just click on providers. You will see a bunch of different type of provider. As Google is very popular, so I will click Google, and here you have to paste this line of code providers. Okay, so copy this and just paste it in this handler. Okay, now once you paste it here, we have this client ID, and then we have this client secret key, correct? So you have to add that one. So if you don't have any account on Google Cloud, go to Google Cloud and create a new project in that one, and in the API and service section you will find a credential. Okay, here you have to add new credential. Before that, you have to add auth consent screen. Okay, and then you have to go to the credential, and then you have to add the credential. Okay, then click on authentication, and here you have to just fill the form, click next, and then you will get the client ID and client secret key. Okay, copy this client ID and client secret key. Let me bring this here and create a new file called .env, which is used to add this all important and secret keys, so that it will not expose to the other user, right? And add Google client key, Google client secret key here. Okay, so that it can be accessible and we can provide it to this provider. Okay, and save it. Next, let's go back here. Okay, let me go back, and oops, sorry, And then if you scroll down, right, then we have to add this session provider. Now what, in this case, right, we don't have this pages underscore app.jsx, right? So this is the simplest way I'm gonna tell you how to implement, right? So first of all, let's go here, and inside app folder, okay, let's create one file called provider.tsx. Okay, I already created. Now let's go to app. So now go to the app folder, and here create a file called provider.js. Okay, oh sorry, it's tsx, so tsx. Okay, and here add the default template, and here we will get props like children. Okay, and here we will add the session provider. Okay, so this session provider we will add it here. Okay, and we don't want this session, so I will remove this session. Okay, and inside that we'll accept this, we will pass this children. Okay, like this, and make sure you'll import this session provider as well. Okay, now what you have to do, just ignore this error. Now close this one, and then go to this um, layout.txs, where we want to wrap this session provider, right? But here we can't wrap it directly, right? So that you have to add providers like this. Okay, so it will be a provider actually, provider, and let me remove this. Okay, and wrap this all content and children inside the provider, so that this will render inside your provider. Okay, and save everything. Now we are pretty close. Now go to our header, right? We created a header, so inside component we have header file, correct? Let me go in our application as well. And if you see, right, we saying react context is unavailable in server component, right? We are getting this error because inside the provider we have to mark this provider as a client side. So just inside the double query basis we have to say client, use client. Okay, as soon as we mark client, the error will gone, because this provider is available on the client side and not the server side. Okay, that's the reason we have to mark this particular file as a client. Okay, now here we will change this user to the button when the user is not login, correct? So go to the header.tsx. For now, for the testing purpose, I will comment this image, and I will copy this button, okay, and paste it here like this. Okay, and just say login. And if I increase size, see login is coming up. Okay, oh perfect. Now if you go to the next auth, right, if you scroll down, here is the way you can log in, right? So if I copy this on click method to sign in, right, like on click sign in. Okay, and make sure you import this one, and then in order to get the session you have to copy this command. Okay, this will help you to check whether your user is login or not. Okay, this session information contains user image, email, and everything. Okay, and then sign in. Perfect. Now we are pretty much ready. Let's go back to our application, and if you see, right, we got the error that use session is unavailable in server component. Again, this header we need to mark it as a client side. Okay, so just mark use client and save it, and you see error is gone. Now if you click login button, okay, so it's saying Google is provider is not defined, so we did not define the Google provider. So here, right, let me go to the provider and select the Google, right? You have to import this statement Google. Okay, so inside the route.js we have to add this provider. Okay, now if you go back to our application, let's see, let's go back first, refresh the screen, and click login. You will see this login button. Now if you click on sign in, you will see bunch of option. Click any of this and see we log in. Right now button is still there. Okay, in order to check whether this user is login or not, right, you can print out the session. Okay, so in header we already accepted in this session, right? What you have to do, just console.log, and say session. Okay, and save it. And if you refresh it, you will see session information. The user is login. You will see user email, user image, and username. Perfect, right? Now what you have to do, once user login, you have to change this button to logout or user image, right? So what you have to do, just scroll down, okay, and just uncomment this one, right? So what I will do, if session is there, okay, a session question mark user is there, they show the image. Otherwise, show the sign in button. Okay, and if I save it now, now you will see this user image because user is login. Now what you have to do, you have to pass this image as a user image, correct? So very simple, right? You have to replace this source with the session dot user dot image. Okay, make sure it will be like this. So what we got there, undefined string. Okay, like this, and save it. If you go back, you will find the error that we need to add this particular domain, the host name, sorry, or domain in your next config, because we are trying to access the third party URL in our application, and that's the reason we need to add this host name in next.config.js. Okay, that we will add that error. We will solve this error now. Now, in order to solve this error, we have to make sure we will add this host name in our next.config.js. Okay, so let's go to a project, and in here we have this next.config.js, right? Inside this next config, we have to add images. Okay, and in that one we have to add domains. Okay, and we will provide array of all the domains which we want to add it here, right? So in this case is our lh3 google user content.com. Okay, and let add it here like this. Okay, and save it. Now once you update this config.js file, you have to make sure that you have to stop the existing build and you have to run it again. Okay, so it's running. Okay, let's go back to our project and then refresh it and wait for a few seconds. So whenever you add any images from any different types of domain URL in the Next.js, you have to add it. Okay, now if you see, right, once it's loaded, it's showing it on the screen, and you will see the user image is displaying on the screen. Okay, perfect. So that's what we wanted. Now sometimes if you refresh the screen, you will see this login page until unless this get loaded, correct? So if you go to the header, right, you can add the condition to whether you want to display it or not. Okay, now when user sign in with the help of Google authentication, we need to save user data in a Firebase. So in order to store data, we are going to use Firestore Firebase database. So let's go to firebase.com and create a new account if you don't have, and just go to the console. So once you are on the console, create a new project if you don't have any new project. Okay, and open the project. Here once you land on this page, okay, it will ask you to create a new application. Otherwise, if you have already existing project, you can create a new application from here. Okay, and just click on the web application. Okay, now here do the name of the application. So in this case is Pinterest clone, and just say register application. So now here we need to install this npm install Firebase in our project. So let's go to our project, and in the terminal paste this command. Okay, and then you have to add this Firebase config. So just copy everything, okay, because we need everything. And let's go back to our project, and here I will create a new folder called shared. Okay, otherwise you can create a new file directly here, it's up to you. Okay, so let's create a new folder called shared, and inside that I will create a new file called firebase config.js. Okay, Inside that, paste the code which you copied. Okay, so this is the Firebase configuration which contain the API key and everything, right? Now you can remove this API key from here and put it in environment variable as well. Okay, right now I will keep as it is, and make sure your Firebase is you initialize the Firebase here. Okay, and save everything. So now let's try to add user information to Firebase, right? If you go to the Firebase, here is a documentation to how to add the data to the cloud Firestore. Okay, and it's quite simple. So first of all, you have to initialize the Firebase, which we already did, right? And then we have to initialize the cloud Firestore, okay, using this particular line. So before that, if you go to the Firebase config, and here we have to export default application so that we can use throughout the application, right? So just add export default, and then we have to export this app reference, right? So that we can use it and save it. Now after that, let's go to header.js JSX, where we are added the sign in and sign out functionality, right? So here what we will do, we will use this line of code, just copy it and paste it. Okay, and make sure to add the import statement. Okay, so I added from here and the application as well. Okay, so if you see the import statement, okay, and then for the app as well, the import statement for that. Okay, now we initialize the database Firestore as well. Okay, now if you scroll down, right, it's quite easy, just this line of code to add the data in a Firebase database. Before that, I will define one method called constant save user info. Okay, and this will help you to save the user data. Okay, so what we'll do inside that, we will check if session dot user is there, means user is login or not, then only we will save the data. So I will copy this one and paste it here. Okay, now it uses await, so we have to make this function as async. Okay, and make sure to add the set doc and the document as well, the import statement, and if you see, it's here, right? Then you have to give the collection name. So in this case, user. Okay, and then we have to give the document ID. Okay, so let me show you the example, right? So let me go here, right? And if you see, this is the collection name and this is the document name, so sorry, document ID, and we give the document ID as an email ID, and document ID should be of unique. Okay, as we know, email ID is unique. That's the reason we set document ID as a email ID. So I right now I will delete this. Okay, this is for just for the demo purpose. Okay, right now we don't have anything, any collection name user. Okay, that's fine. Now let's go back to our code. Here we have to give session dot user, and inside that we have the user's email, right, as a document ID. Then we have to give user name, so I will write user name, then email, and then user image. Okay, and user name will be session dot user dot name. Okay, same thing, I will copy paste here and just change this to email and change this to image. Okay, now we all are set. Okay, and now we have to call this function in use effect. Okay, and pass the empty. Okay, so here, right, we don't need to pass empty, we have to pass the session. Okay, whenever session change, because initially when you refresh the screen you will get the undefined sometimes, because you will get some, it takes some time to verify or check whether user login or not, right, to get the session information. So that's the reason whenever we get the session information, this use effect will execute, right? That's the reason I added the session. I'm passing session in this particular array, and then just type call this session information. Okay, and save it. Now I already login, that's fine, right? And if you see, if you go back, let me refresh the screen, okay, just to make sure. And now if you go back to this one, right, let me refresh this one, Firestore as well, and then you will see this new collection is created with the email ID as our document ID, and all field is created as well, right? Email, user image, and username as well, right? Perfect, that's what we are looking. So even though right now I don't know why, okay, so we got the error, but So it's saying that, right, cannot read property of user undefined. The reason is here, we are checking, we are hardcodely checking whether session.user is available. So make it as a optional and then save it. Now you will not get that error. Okay. And even though you sign out and sign in, right, and whenever the information is available, obviously this use effect will execute and saving user info will get called, and then we can able to save this information. Perfect. And don't worry, even though we refresh the screen and we will add the data in the Firestore, but obviously the id document id is unique, then it's not create any duplicate information, or it will not save duplicate data in Firestore. Okay, so don't worry about that. Perfect. Now, once user click on this particular profile image, we want to navigate to the user profile page. Okay, and you can access the user profile page by just providing the id of the user, right? And for id we are using going to use user's email id because that is unique. Okay, so for example, if I go to this url, okay, and type, for example, tubeguruji at the rate gmail.com, and if I click enter, it should supposed to open the profile page. Right now we don't have a page, that's the reason it's showing a 404 error. Okay, but if you pass the email address, which is our id, then we should open this particular page. Okay, so what you have to do, let's go back to our application, right? And inside the app we will create a one folder. Okay, but this folder will give the name, dynamic name, okay, for the dynamic routing. So in order to give the dynamic name, we want to give the, we want to write the name of this particular folder in square bracket, right? And here we will pass the user id like this. Okay, and then inside that, with the help of new Next.js, we want to give the file name as page.jsx. Okay, you can give tsx or jsx, I will give right now. Okay, and add the default template. Okay, and I will change this to profile. Can give whatever you want, I will write profile. Okay, and just to make sure, like this, and save it. Now if you go back here, right now we are on the home page, right? Now just type slash and the any user id, right? So in this case I will add this to at gmail.com as id, and if I click enter, okay, you will see I landed on the profile page. Okay, this is how easy is. You don't need any special configuration for the routing. Okay, so I hope you understand this, how to route to the new page. And just now we learn how to do the dynamic routing. Okay, this is called dynamic routing. So for example, if there is some user called xyz.gmail.com, okay, and enter it, you will see still you are on the profile page, right? It means uh, the id, whatever the id you provided, it will jump to the profile. Okay, now what we will do from here, we will take this id and then we will fetch the user information from our database if they is there anything. Okay, perfect. Now let's implement the routing. Okay, so first of all we have to define the router here. Okay, so define route constant router is equal to use router. Okay, so in this case, as we know, you know, right, we are using Next.js 13, and in Next.js 13, if you see this import statement use router, right, instead of importing from the next slash router, we have to make sure we are importing from the next slash navigation. Okay, otherwise it will not work. So make sure that you will import the user router using the next slash navigation. Okay, then on the click of image, right, user profile image, we want to navigate to the profile page, right? So here I will put on click event. Okay, and you can define method on image click, or you can directly call the function here, right, like this. So router dot, okay, and here you have to write push. Okay, and inside that we want to only want to send the user id. Okay, so just write slash plus and session dot user dot email, which is our user id, correct? And that's what I defined, I explained earlier how you want to navigate, right? And save it now. Now let's go back to our project. Let me clean this one. Okay. Let me right now we are on this page, right? If I click on this one, right, if you see, we navigate to the profile page, right? And this is this id we are passing, right? It means even though if you share this url, right, it will directly open this particular page, right? Now another thing, we want to get this email id, whatever the user id, okay, when we jump onto this profile page. So go to this profile page, okay, under this user id folder, and here we have to accept the parameter. Okay, so you can define params. Okay, make sure you will define the params, because when you route it, right, it destructurizes as a params. Okay, and let's define a use effect, and in that we will just console the parameter value. Okay, so here I will pass the params. Okay, so whenever we receive this params value, right, then obviously this use effect will get called. Okay, and just write console.log. Inside that we'll write the params. Okay, and save it. Let me bring the project on the side. Okay, and if you see, right, it's saying you use effect issue, right, because we need to convert this particular page.jx as a server side. So just write, sorry, we need to convert into client side. So just write use client and save it. Okay, and if you see now the error gone, right? And if I go to the inspect panel and go to the console, you will see this object, right? And inside the object we have the user id. Okay, so now you can just print the user id as well. So into the into this console log, like, you can define params dot user id to just display the user id, right? And if I clean this one, let me refresh the screen, and then you will see the email id. Okay, now one more thing, if you observe, right, the user id contains this %40 instead of at the rate, right? So in order to remove this particular issue, right, what you have to do, just in the user id dot, just say replace. Okay, and we have %40 with at the rate, and then save it. Okay, now if you let me refresh it, and now you will see the exact email address whatever we are passing. Okay, now here is thing, right, you can just pass this id as well, or you can create your own number id or whatever the username you want to create, you can create it, right? But as a simplicity, as this course is beginner friendly, we don't want to go into deep. Okay, so I hope you understand this particular one. Now we will use this email id to fetch the user information from the Firebase, because we already saved the fire our users information in Firebase, right? So with the help of this um email id, we will fetch the data. Now once we land on the our profile page, right, and we already have this user id as well as a email, then we will fetch that document from the Firebase with the help of email id. Okay, so if you go to this Firebase documentation, here is the simple way to fetch the data. So before that, we have to make sure we will initialize the database. Okay, so just write constant db is equal to get Firebase, get Firestore, and we have to pass app. Okay, as simple as that. Then I will define one method called get user info. Okay, and we define like constant and define the arrow function. Okay, and inside that I will just copy this code. Okay, now once you copy this code, as we are using await, make it a sync function, and now we have to import this doc, right? And after that, we have to define the collection name. So in this way, in this case, the collection is user, and then we have to define the document id, which document we want to fetch, right? So in this case, the document id is this one, correct? So I will use this one, or what you can do, we can pass email as this one, right, and we will use the email. Okay? And what we will do, we will copy this get username and we'll call it here. Okay, if we have the parameter value, then we will call this one. Okay, and we'll pass our email id like this. Okay, now we have the email id and we have the document reference. Okay, and we will just get the snapshot of this particular document reference using this get doc method, and make sure you will import this get doc, and we also import the document already. Okay, then it will check whether document snap has some value or not, right? If you put the wrong email id, then obviously document snap will be empty, right? If document snap exists, then we will return the document snap dot data. It will return the documents, so it will return email, the name and user image. Okay, otherwise it will say no such a document. Okay, so let's try this particular code. Save it and then go back to a project. Okay, let me clean everything and refresh the data. Now as soon as refresh, right, you will see we got the document, right? So we got the email, we got the user image and the username as well. So this data we already storing in our database, right? That's the reason we got the data. Now for example, if I open in some other terminal, right, and let me go to the inspect panel as well, right, and here we did not log in, if you remember, right, we did not log in here. And if I enter it, right, still we are getting data, right? But we did not log in here, right, because we already stored the data. Okay, so that you can share your profile as well, just with the way help of url, and user can see it, right? If they want to post something, obviously they need to log in to their account, and then only they can post on the Pinterest. So that's how Pinterest will gonna work, and that's what we are going to implement as well. Okay, I hope you understand this particular scenario or particular section. Okay, if you have any question, any doubts, let me know in the comment section, or you face some challenges, you can anytime you can refer the source code. The source code is in the link is in the description, so you can check it out anytime. Now let's implement the profile page. We already have the all the information which we require. So in this case, we will define the we will display the user profile image, username, and the user ID, which is the email ID. Okay, so let's go back to our project. Let me close this one, and here we are already in the profile page, right? And we will divide it into two components. So I will create a new component in the component folder, and I will call it as a user profile, or just write user info dot jsx. Okay, and add the default template using the rfce. Okay, and we have the user info as well here. Okay, now just import this user info. Okay, so you can add the user info like this. Oh sorry, user info. Don't know why it did not import directly. Let me import it here. Okay, so just add import user info from, so it need to be user info, and then give the path. So in this case components slash user info. Okay, and save it. As soon as save, you got the user info here, right? So it get imported successfully. Now go to the user info and let's define some information. Before that, we have to make sure we will pass the necessary information. So we got this data, right? So that we will store it in one state. So we will call constant user info comma set user info is equal to use state. Okay, and then make sure to add this use state. Okay, means you have to import it here like this and save it, right? And now go to this our method here, right, where we are consoling the user information, and set, right, set user info, and here we'll set this doc snap data like this. I will remove this one and then save it. Now we have to pass this user information into this one. Okay, so write user info like this, and we'll pass it like this. Okay, and for the I will check it first, right, whether do we have the user info, and then only it will render the data, otherwise it will show null. Okay, and save it. Now accept it as a parameter, so I will just write user info here. Okay, and save it. Now you can console it whether we got the user info or not. So let's console user info, save and save. Let's go back to our project, go to the inspect panel, see console, and clean it and just refresh it, right? And if you see, we got the user info right at the line phone number 4, and we have email, username, and user image. Now we got the all the necessary information which we want, right? Now let's display that. So first of all, let's define image. Inside that we have to define source. So before that we have to make sure that we'll import the image from the next slash image. Okay, then we have to provide the source. Inside that we have to give the user info dot user image. That's what it is. And then give alt tag called user image. Then we have to give width of maybe uh, 80 and a height of 80. Okay, and let's save it and just check whether we are getting data. Perfect, we got the data. Now let's give some style. So give class name, say rounded to be full. Okay, so it will be rounded. Okay, next we want to show name of the user, right? So I will increase the size of this one little bit bigger, so let's make it 100, and here also make it 100. Then define some tag, and inside that we'll show the username. So user info dot username. Okay, and then apply some class is for this one. So I will say text of 30 pixel. Okay, and then I will make font to be semi bold and save it. I think this is look good, right? Similar to this one. Perfect. And then at the last we have to show the email address. Let's write user info dot email and save it. See, we got the email address. We'll change the color. So what I will do, it's little gray, right? So just type last name text gray. Maybe this one. Okay. Yeah, it look good to me. Okay. Now bring everything into the center. So write class name flex. Okay. And we want flex column and item to be center like this, as simple as that, right? If I increase size, it look good. Just think the margin is okay, I think. Okay, you can increase the size if you want. I will keep as it is, and you can check every time when you are doing, right, how it looks on the mobile view as well, right? And the unresponsive side as well, right? See, it's perfectly responsive. I hope you understand this one. Okay, so we easily implemented this one. Now if you have new email address, you can just type it, and you can, with the help of this one, you can just share it, okay, with your friends and family. Next we have these two buttons called share and edit profile, right? We will not add the edit profile functionality, we will just add the share. So I will add the share button as well here. So after this s2 tag, I will add the button and it will say share. And let's give some styling to this one. Say add class name, and let's say background to be gray, 400. Okay. Maybe 400 is little darker. Let me 300. Give padding to be 2. Okay, and I will give padding x to 3, and then round it to be full. Okay, like this. And let's see whether it's similar to this one. Okay, it's perfectly similar. I will make more lighter, and again let's make font of semi bold, and it will look similar, kind of similar. Let's do margin top to 5. Perfect, and let's see how it looks. Perfect, it's similar to this one now. Okay, next we pretty much completed this section as well, right? We successfully showing the user information. Now next what we'll do, On the click of create button, we will show the form. Okay, and then we will implement the form information, how to fetch the form and how to save it in the Firestore Firebase database. Okay. Now, if you go to the create and create plane, right, it will navigate to the pin dash builder, and there you will see this form. Okay, the same kind of form we will build in our project. So first of all, let's go to our code, and here we'll create a new folder. Okay, so called pin dash builder. Okay, inside that we'll create a page dot .jsx. Okay, and add the default template. So we can call it as a pin builder. Okay, and save it. Now let's start, make sure we will navigating correctly. So let's go to the header. So in components we have header, right? And here on the click of create, we already have this button called create, right? So let me bring this down, and we'll add the on click method. Okay, on this one we will say router dot push, and here we will push the pin dash builder. Okay, and then save it. If I click on this create, okay, let me check, let me refresh the screen. Oops, sorry. Go to localhost 300. Okay, and if I click on create, you see it's navigate to the pin builder, and we'll jump it on the pin builder. Okay, here we will design this particular form. So I already create the form to add the post in a Pinterest. Okay, so let me explain how I implemented. So first of all, in the our main page, okay, I added this div, and inside that I added the component called form. Okay, and I added some background, some padding here. Okay, depends on the screen size. Inside the form.jsx, okay, I divided the form into two sections. Okay, one is the upload image, to upload the image section, and the other is the user input. Okay, and I kept in one single form.jsx. Okay, in upload.image, if I go to the upload.image, I just added the some styling and margin. I will show you how it looks. Okay, and also I created one more component called user tag, which contains the user image, name, and email address. Okay, and that I will that will as well I will show you to you. Okay, so let me show you everything. So let me put this in this way. Okay, and this is our, oh, sorry, so this is our form. Okay, it will looks on mobile like this. If I extend it, it will look like this. Okay, and it's quite similar to this one. Okay, let me delete this. See. Okay, now as I say, to upload the image, I create this particular component. This is completely separate component, and this form, which is on the right hand side, is completely another different component. This, so two components I put together. Okay, and the save button in the form.jsx. Another component I made it, which is the user tag. Okay, which contains this image, name, and email. Okay, so let me show you that one. So if you see, right, user tag, so here is the image, and 2h2 tag to show the username and email. Okay, very straightforward. With the help of Tailwind CSS only I implement this one. Okay, so if you face any issue, then you can anytime you can refer my source code, with the link is in the description, but you can try this one. Okay, which is quite simple form, and as I say, it's a responsive. Okay, perfect. So now our task is, when the user enter this information, okay, we have to make sure we are fetching that information, and we'll save it in one state. Okay, and after that we will store it in the database. Now let's record the user input value. Okay, so when your user select image or enter some value, and on the click of save, we will console all the information. Okay, so that we will structurize it, and then we will send it to the Firebase Firestore. Okay, so first of all, let's define some of the states. So first of all, I will define constant data and session. Okay, so from this one we will get the users information. Okay, the current login user information. which we need when we click the save button, right? And then along with the post information, we will send the user information as well, so that in the database we will get to know, okay, who saved the data and everything. Okay, then second is the constant title. Set title to set the title information. Okay, use state, make sure to add this use state in the React. Okay, then constant set description, comma set description is equal to use state. So this will be used to save this information. And the last is link. Okay, it need to be a description only, and the link is equal to set link. Okay, and the last is file. So we also want to store the file information, so I will set file like this. Okay, now first what we'll do, wait, so we got one error. Let's see what's the error. Okay, so we have to import the user session. Okay, so use session, so I will copy from the existing one and paste it here. So one more thing, right? We by mistakenly kept this in upload image. We want to put it in form. Okay, I will keep it here. In form.js we have to add this all this state and all. Okay, then if you scroll down, for each input we will add the on change method. Okay, and we will save the information in state. Okay, so for example, for this title we'll set on change. Okay, and this will be a event e. Okay, and we will set the value. So in this case we will set title e dot target dot value, like this. I will copy this and paste it for the second input, which is here, and here will be a set description. Okay, and another is okay. So this need to be here actually, and for this one it's a set link. Okay, perfect. Now let's try to print it out. Okay, so what I will do, I will create one method called on save. Okay, so this will be execute on the save button click. Okay, and I will just console.log title. Title will be sorry, title, comma, description, 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 and then link, comma, link. Okay, and then I will call this on save for this button. So on, so we'll add the on click method here. On click, we will call the on save method and save everything. Now let's open our application and let's open the inspect panel as well. And in the console, just type title info, some information, this link console, and if I click save, okay, we got the error that discrimination is not defined. Let me check what's the issue here. Okay, so it need to be a small DASC. We clean this one and then click save. So you see that we got the title, we got the description, and we got the link as well. Okay, perfect. Now let's implement for the image. So obviously we put this image in component, in different component, right? So that's from where we have to handle this file, and then we have to store it here, right? So let's go to upload image first, and here we have a method called on input, right? In that we have to call one property called on change. Okay, so on change method will give us of selected file input, right? First of all, let's console what we are getting, right? So this will be a event e, and inside that e dot target dot files, and we have first element, first file. Okay, and if I save it, let's open this one. I open any of this image, right? And see, we got the file information. Okay, now this file information we have to pass back to the parent component, which is the form.jsx, right? So let me remove this console.log, and we will say set file like this. Okay, and this set file will pass it as a prop. Okay, so in the form.jsx we have to accept here, okay, like this. And again, we already have the set file here, correct? We will set the file again, so it should be like, let me define file and set file, the file value. Okay, now what we'll do, let's print the file value as well. Okay, so I will say file, and I will just show the file here like this. Okay, and save it. Now let's test it in everything. Let's upload some image. Okay, and if I click save, you will see the file. Okay, so title along with the file information. Obviously it's not showing on the screen, but we will show it, don't worry. Okay, now in the upload image, okay, I added one state called selected file and set selected file. Okay, and on the change of this particular input, right, of type file, first we already added this set file, and along with that I also added this set selected file. Okay, and the same value I am setting. So this value selected file I am using to check whether the file is selected or not. Okay, if the file is selected, then I am showing this image. Okay, or if the file is not selected, then I am hiding the click to upload and this icon. Okay, let's test it out. So if I click on this particular one, right, and I open any of this particular banner, for example this banner, you see it's displaying on the screen. Along with that, we are also hiding this click to upload and this upload icon as well. Okay, perfect. So this is how it works, and we also showing the preview of the image as well, right? If you click again, it will again select some other image. For example, if you select this one, and you will see the image. Okay, and then we will upload this one to the Firestore. So let's upload the file on Firebase storage. Okay, if you don't know about the storage, then it's go to this Firebase console, and you will find this option storage, where we can upload the file, images, video, music, lot of things. Okay, just say get started and you will be launched on this page. Okay, make sure to update the rules, okay, so that you can able to write it or upload the file on the storage. Okay, now this is the documentation for the upload the file on the storage. Okay, so with the help of that we will upload the file. So first of all, I will create a new method called constant upload file. Okay, and here very first thing we need to do, if you see here, right, we have to define the reference of the storage. So just define constant storage and get storage. Okay, make sure to import this get storage and pass it the app reference. Okay, now inside the upload file we have to define constant storage reference. Okay, is equal to, so this line. Okay, then we have to give the reference, make sure to import the reference, right? I imported already, and then add the storage reference here, and then you have to give the path and the file name. So in this case the path is pinterest slash, okay, and the name of the file. So in this case our file name is, we are getting from file dot name, because we already store the file name here, right? Make sure to add plus sign here. Okay, like this. So this file name contains the name of the file along with this extension. Okay, this is very important, you have to add the extension. Once you add that, right, just if you scroll down here, what we have to do, we have to upload the file, right, this particular documentation. Now let's say upload bytes. Okay, and then we have to pass the storage reference, and then we have to pass the file. Okay, and they say then get snapshot of that one and just console it that file uploaded. Okay, and then let's test this out. Now On the save button, you have to call this upload file. Okay, so just call upload file here like this. That's all, and save it. Right, now go back to our application. Let me clean everything, and let me refresh the screen as well. Okay, now if I click upload, and if I upload this file, add some sample text, paste, paste. Okay, and just click save. So as soon as you click save, right, you got this message called file uploaded. Okay, and let's check it out whether it's uploaded or not. So just refresh these files, and if you see, this folder is created. Okay, very first time, and then the images store or uploaded on this particular storage. And if you see, right, our image is stored. You can click on this one and you will see this upload, the URL of this one. Right, now our file is uploaded, so we are good with that, right? But we need the URL of uploaded file, right? So if you see, right, in this, okay, so this URL we need it, right? So how to get this URL? Because this URL we have to store in our database, right? So again, for this one, right, just refer the documentation, and if you scroll down, okay, here you will see to one method called get download URL, right? And from there we will get the URL. So it's very easy. Just write then here, okay, then the response, and inside that you can write get download URL. Okay, so make sure to import that method and pass the storage reference here. Okay, so don't go one by one. I refer my code because this is more cleared and more simplified. Okay, and once you pass the storage reference, then pass 10 because this is promise, and then URL is console.log, and just pass URL like this, right? Let me pass download with console this URL first, and let's see whether we are getting correctly or not. Okay, and then save it. Now let's go back and test it. So let me refresh the screen, add some text, some value, and let's upload the image now. Now if I upload the image and click save, you will see the URL. Okay, perfect. If I open this URL, you will see the the image is open, right? Now this URL we will store along with our object. Okay, and then we will store everything in our database. Now let's store the information. Okay, so in the upload file, right, and we get this download URL. Okay, so here I will create one object called constant um, post data is equal to, and inside that I will add the title, which is title. Okay, so this is the field name, and this is the title value, right, which we are getting from the state. Okay, then we have description, and we give the description. Then the field name link, and we give link, and last is image, which is the URL. Okay, and now we will send this, we will store this in our Firebase store, Firestore. Okay, so first of all we have to define initialize the Firebase. So let's constant db is equal to get store get sorry Firestore, and just pass the app. Okay, and then if you see this documentation, right, how to set the document, so it's quite easy, right? So inside this one you have to define await. Okay, set doc, and set doc, make sure you import the set doc, and you have to set only one doc. So just set doc, give the reference of database, and here you have to give the collection name. So in this case the collection name is, will give the Pinterest underscore dash post. Okay, after that we will add the uh, id of the document, right? So what we will do in order to add the id, right? So here at the top we will define the id. Okay, so what we will do, after this one I will say constant post id is equal to date dot now. Okay, so it will give this timestamp, which is obviously unique because every time we get the current time it will be unique, right? And we have to convert it into string. Okay, so let's just write to string, because document id should be a string only. Okay, now this post id we will use it here, okay, as our document id. And after that we have to send the our data, right? So we already have this post data, so I will pass it here like this, and then that's all. Okay, and right now it's await, so we have to make this as a async. Okay, so I will just write here as a async. Okay, perfect, and the error is gone. Okay, and that's all, right? And you can put the dot then method whether it's save or not, or you want when you are going to show loader and everything, that time you can set the value here. Okay, so just write uh, saved. Okay, and save it. Now let's test this one. Okay, so let's go back to our project. So right now, okay, so everything is good. Let me go to the inspect panel, go to the console. Okay, just to make sure everything is clean, and I add the first post, right? So test first one. Okay, first link test. Okay, and upload the image. So in this case I will upload some image. Okay, take this image and just click save. So as soon as you save, right, we got some error that the doc is not defined, right? So what happened here, we have to import the document, right? So make sure to add the document of, I don't know what happened here, and add the document, okay, from Firestore, and I think then we are good. Let's try it now. Let me clean this one and let's click save. Okay, so as soon as I save it, it said saved, right? And along with our U file image also uploaded, and data is also saved. Let's check in our Firestore, right? Let me refresh the Firestore, and if you see, the Pinterest post, it get the new collection is get created, and the new ID is get created, document ID, and along with the information, right? But there is one missing part here, right? Now we had all the information, but we don't know who posted this one, right? So obviously we need to add the user information as well for each post. Okay, so what we can do after this one, right, you can add the username. Okay, from the session. So you can add the username from the session dot user dot name. Okay, after that we have to add email. So just add session dot user dot email. Okay, and then again we can add the user image as session dot user dot image. It's okay, image only, right? And then save it. Now we have this information as well. Let's try it and test it whether we are getting all the data correctly, right? So I'll have it at test first two link test2, and save it, right? Now I saved this one, and now let's go back to our Firebase Firestore. The new IDs get created, and which contain our username, user image, and the name. Where is the user email as well, right? And all the information. Perfect. That's what all we need, right? So I hope you understand this one. And every time it's created new ID, it's a unique. So don't worry about that one as well, right? Perfect. Now here we will make some quick update. So first thing, on the click of this logo, right, we want to go to the home page, right? So first implement that one. So go to the header, okay, where we have the logo, and for this image, right, this is a logo image, we'll add the on click method, and then we will route it, right? So just add router dot push. Okay, and just add the home page, right, like this slash only, and save it. And now if I click on this one, right, it will go to the home page. See, right? Perfect. So now I also added this logout button in the profile section. Okay, and on this click of this logout, we will log out from the session, and as well as we also navigate to the home page, right? So on I added this on click method for this logout button, and I created one method called on logout click. Here I will add the sign out method. Okay, and which is coming from this NextAuth. Okay, make sure to import this one. After the sign out, we also want to navigate to the home page. So we'll add the router here. So just write constant router is equal to use router. Okay, like this, and make sure to import this router. Oh, sorry, it's need to be use router. Okay, and make sure to import this use router from next slash navigation. okay, because this is Next.js 13. And just define router dot push, and we want to navigate to the home page, so I just define default slash, okay, and save it. Now let me go back here, right here, and if I log in now, sign in with Google, let me log in. And if you see, I log in now, okay. If I go to the profile page, we will see this everything. And if I click on logout, right, we log out and we navigate to the jump page. I don't know whether we navigate to the home page or not. Let me go to the inspect panel and check. Go to the console, and I think we don't, I did not navigate to the home page actually, okay. Also, one more thing, we want to make sure that if user is not current user, that then we don't want to show this logout button, right? So let's define the constant here, okay. Data colon session is equal to use session, okay. Make sure to import this use session. Let me get the import statement from here, okay, and add it here like this. So, and then we have to make sure that the session email id is equal to that user email id, then only we want to show this logout button. So I will define here session dot user dot email, okay, and make sure it is optional field. Session dot user dot email is equal to the user info dot email, user info dot email, then only show this button, otherwise show null, okay, and save it. So if you see, it's not able to see anymore, okay. Now let's go back to home page. Let's log in it now, sign in with Google. Let me close this one, let me sign in. And if you see, profile image is showing. Now let's go to profile, and then you will see this logout button as well, okay. Now on the create button, if user is log out, right, we have to make sure that a user need to first log in, right? So let's go to header. So let me go to the header.jsx, right, and inside the create button, right, so we have this create button here, right now we are pushing pin builder, right. I will remove this code and I will add on create click, okay, method. So we'll add the on create click, so constant on create click, okay. And in this method I will check if session dot, or maybe a session is available, then go to this pane builder, else go to the router dot push, right, and the logins button, right. So if you see, we already have the login, this one, right. Oh, it is, so sign in button, sorry, okay. Then we have to click sign in, not we don't need to navigate because we are directly logging in, okay. So just say sign in and save it. If you see, right, I'm on create button, the user is not login. If I click create, it will navigate to the sign in first, right. Perfect, that's what we wanted. Otherwise you can show the message that okay, you have to first log in, okay. Here I added the loading indicator, right. So I added this image tag, and inside that I added this loading indicator dot png file, okay. And I also wrap this save button inside this spam, okay, not button, just a text, okay. Now it will look like this. If you see, right, it's saving button. Now what we have to do, on the click of that one, we have to show this loading, and we want to hide the save button, okay. And then we will, it will navigate to the home page, not sorry, it's on profile page, okay. So let's go back here and define one state, okay. So I will define one state called constant loading comma set loading, okay, equal to use state, okay. The default value I will show it as a false, okay. Now once user click on save, right, let me remove this console. Now we'll set the loading value as true, okay. And once the loading is completed, we will set the loading value as a true. So set loading to be true. Now here in the image, right, we have to define one condition. If loading true, means if it's true, then show this image, otherwise show the span. Sorry, show the save button. Okay, and save it now. And as soon as I save, it will look like this. Now let's try to upload something, right? So let's upload some image. So let me copy some image from somewhere, I don't know. Okay, so let me copy this one. Okay, so UI UX design web. We'll copy the same here. I don't know, I don't have any URL. Let me copy some random URL. Okay, so I have this URL, I will paste it here. Okay, and just click save. As soon as you click save, it will show loading button. Okay, and now it will navigate to this home page. On this home page, we gonna show all the users post on or pins on this particular screen. Now in order to display the user's pin, right, we want to create a new folder in the component section. Okay, so I will create a new folder called uh, pins. Okay, and inside that I will create one file called pins list. Okay, so let's create file pin list.jsx and add the default template. Okay, now let's import this pin list in under this page.jsx. Okay, so under the user info we want to show the pins list. Okay, so pin list. Okay, make sure to import it. So let's go back here and import pin list from and define the path. Sometimes it will give you the suggestion, sometimes not, so you have to import it manually. Okay, a pin list. Okay, and then save everything. Now let's go back to our project, and this is how we want to display, right? Let's go back to our project, and so it's saying pin list is not defined. Let me refresh it. Let me bring this on the right side. Okay, so it's supposed to be pin list. Okay, and save it. And as you save, it's showing the pin list right here. Perfect, that's what we wanted. Now let's fetch the user pins. Okay, so first of all, let's go to page.jsx, and here we have to pass this user info to the pin list as well. Okay, like this, and accept it here. So we will get the user information on this particular pin list component. Okay, after that, define the constant db, and then we have to initialize this firestore, right, is equal to get firestore, and then add the app as well. Okay, so we already did this, right, to fetch the user information. Same thing we have to do it here as well. After that, I will define one method called constant get user pins. Okay, and here let's fetch the information, right? So here is thing, right, we need to add we have to fetch the multiple documents, right? And here is the documentation on Firebase to fetch the multiple documents from the collection, right? Here for that one we have to create the query first, then we have to create the snapshot of that query, and then we have to fetch the data. Okay, so we'll do one by one. So first of all, let's add constant. I already have the query, right? I will just paste it here. So let's add this query. So in this query, right, we have this collection passing the database. Then I'm adding this Pinterest post as a collection name, and here we are passing the where condition. Okay, and where in the where condition we will check whether email is equal to users info dot email, right, that current users information. Okay, then only fetch the information, right? And after that, just copy this line of code and just paste it here. Perfect. Right now we are just consoling the information. Okay, so it will print the document id along with the document data. It's we are using await, so we have to make this function async. Okay, and now in the use effect we have to call this get user pins. Okay, so I will pass the empty, so only once we will call when the component get load, and like this, and save it. Now let's go back to our project. Here, go to the inspect panel, Go to the console, let me clean everything, let me refresh. And right now we got one error, right? So it's saying query is not defined, so it means we have to import the query. So here we have query, right? So just import it, query. Okay, so here it's imported. And what else we need to import? Collection as well, we need to import get talks. So make sure you import everything. Okay, we have to import where as well. Okay, and save it. Now if you go back, clean this one, let me refresh the screen. And now you will see we got the id and user information. In the user information we have description, email. I also added the id. Okay, the image, link, title, user image. The id is nothing but document id, so I'm also saving it in our database. Okay, so let me show you the. So in form.js I added one more field called id. Okay, and I'm passing this post id which we already defined here. Okay, perfect. So now we got the information, let's store it in one state. So here we will do some quick modification. So pin list, we're gonna use this here, right? But we also want to use same component on our home page, okay, to display the list of pins. So in order to do that, right, let me go to profile and I will just copy everything. Okay, this line of code I will cut it from here, and in the page.jsx. Okay, so this is our page, right? And here I will add it. So I will add one more. We have a get user info, right? After that I will add this one. Okay, so and make sure to add everything. So constantly we already defined, so no need to use this one. We'll use get user pins. So we already have one use effect here, right? So you can use that or we can use separately as well. Okay, and then make sure to import all the input statements. So I will just copy everything from here and paste it like this. Perfect. And what we have to do, instead of passing this user info, right, we will pass the actual data once we store it uh, in one state, right? And this data will pass it to the pin list. Okay, so I will remove this one right now. Let's save everything, make sure everything is correct. So right now we got one error called get Firestore is not defined, is defined multiple times. So let's see where we define multiple times. So maybe, okay, so I think we copied this one again, right? So I will remove this one, dock here, and let me remove this one. Okay, I also want to show dock, and let me save it now. Let's see whether we are getting any error. Now everything's look good. Let me clean this one, let me refresh the screen, and we got one error. Let's see what is in cannot read property of undefined email, right? So here what we can do, once we get this one in use effect, right, we'll define if. Okay, so sorry, so right now if you see, right, we are using the user info, right, but user info is not set. So what we can do, we pass this user info here, and only once user info is there, then only execute this get user pins. Okay, and I will also write get user info like this. Okay, and save it. Now let's test it. Let me clean this one, let me refresh the screen, and now we don't have any error and we are getting the all the data. Perfect. Now we got the pins and we console it, right? Now let's store it in one state. So let's define one state called constant. Let's say list of pins, so comma set list of pins is equal to use state. Okay, and pass the empty array. Now with the help of set list of pins we will set the value. So let's come down and inside this doc data, right? So here is the thing we want to because right now we are getting document one by one, right, and we want to append that document in that array. So what we can do here, we have to define in such a way, oh, sorry, so here we have to define the, I will say list of pins. Okay, you can give any name, and then we have to define the dot 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 then again list of pins because the previous pins with the new pins, so dot data like this. And now it will save the list of pins. Now this list of pins we have to pass it. I will remove this console, and this list of pins we have to pass to the pin list. Okay, so I will just pass it like this. Okay, list of pins, perfect. And now go to the pin list, accept this here, and just consolidate the pin list of pins. Okay, and save it. Now let's open this one, clean everything, and if you see, we got the list of pins. Okay, so we got this 5 list of pins, I think. Okay, perfect, that's what we wanted. Now here, in order to display it, let's iterate this list of pins. So just define list of pins dot map. Inside that we will provide item comma index as well, and then we have to define div tag. Okay, and let's define key value as well. Okay, so in this case I will put index. Now inside this one, just try to print item dot title and check whether we are getting information or not. So if you see, right, we got this 6 pins, right, the one which this user is created. Okay, perfect. Now what I will do, instead of uh, writing the code here, I will create another component inside the pins folder called pin item dot jsx. Okay, and add the default template. Let me remove this one. Okay, and now let me save this one, and instead of item dot title I will call add this pin item. Okay, I don't know why it's not suggesting me, but let's import it in item from slash dot slash pin item. Okay, and you see you got the pin item. Now this item value will pass it here, so I will add as a pin at the item value. Okay, and in pin item just accept it as a pin. Okay, and if you try to print the title here now with the pin dot title, you will see the title. See, now we have to design this component. Let me go to the Pinterest like this, right? So see how it looks. So it's simple image and the name of the uh, title of this particular post and users image. Okay, and the name, and on hover it, it's showing these buttons. Okay, this link, this upload button and everything, right? So let's do it. This is challenge for you. If you face anything, then you can let me know in the comment section, or you can access the source code anytime. The link is in the description. So I already created one component called pin item, and inside that I already defined the styling and HTML tag. Right, it's quite simpler. You can refer it anytime, right? And right now it's not structured, right? And on a hover you will see this overlay. Okay, so if you see, it's not structured, correct? It's showing even if I increase the screen size, it's just showing one line. Now go to the pin list. Okay, and here is we are rendering this list of pins, right? So let's define class name. Okay, and if you observe one thing, right, this Pinterest grid is little different, and this kind of grid we want to achieve, and it's quite simple in Tailwind CSS. That's what I'm going to teach you now. So here we want to first define the, for the small screen, right, this is small screen, we have to define like columns. Okay, so how many columns do you want? So in this case we want to show the 2 columns, right? So 2 columns, and as soon as did I, right, see the magic, right, immediately it changed the layout and it showed the similar grid like the Pinterest. Okay, now let's apply some styling as well. Before that, I will give some margin top to 7. Okay, so it will come like this, and I will also give the padding x to 2. Okay, and when screen size is medium, I will give padding x to 5. Okay. Now on for the smaller screen size, we already give this columns of 2. When the screen size is medium, we will give the columns, sorry, columns to 3. Okay, when screen size is larger, we give columns to 4, and when the screen size is extra larger, we will give the columns of 5. Okay, so if you observe, right, if Pinterest, right, if I this is on extra large screen, and 1 2 3 4 5 column is showing on the screen. Okay, and as soon as I decrease the size, see the change, right? So now on medium is showing 3, on large it will show 4, and on maximum it will 5. Okay, perfect. So that's how we are going to show. Also, let me show you. So here as well, right, it's touching to this pin, right? So let's give some spacing. So add say space on the y-axis, means vertically. I wanna give the space of, for example, 6, and then save it, right? And margin x, I will keep it auto. Now, if you see, right, it's completely perfect, right? If I increase the size, right, let me refresh the screen, right? Right now it's showing 3 only, because let me go back here, right? We have to did we miss anything? Okay, so on medium we showing 3, on large screen we have to show 4, so not column span, it should be a columns 4, and here as well columns 5. Okay, basically I did it. If I increase the size, see, 1 2 3 4 5 post is visible on the screen. Okay, you can give some gap, more gap between this one. I will keep as it is, it look good to me. Okay, and if I decrease the screen size, okay, as soon as I decrease the screen size, see, on this is the last screen, this is the, now this is a medium screen, and now this is a smaller screen. Okay, and if you see, right, the grid structure, you don't need to do any spatial configuration for this kind of grid structure, right? Tailwind CSS already taking care of that one. And if you want to see the behind CSS class, for example, if I hover on this one, you will see the minimum width and everything will be already defined. Okay, so I hope you understand this one. If you have any doubt, any question, then please reach out to me, or you can put a comment in the comment section, and anytime you can access my code. Okay, so in a home page as well, if you go to page.jsx, right, the same logic which we use for the to fetch the user's pin, right, I copied the same logic in page.jsx, only change it, I remove the where condition, because we want all the pins which is available in that collection. Okay, so that's the reason I use this one, and I'm setting the same value whatever we have. Okay, now what you have to do, let's remove this one for now. Okay, and here we'll define the pin list. Okay, and for this pin list, if you see, right, we want to pass the list of pins. Okay, sorry, so let me go to this page.jsx, and here we will pass the list of pins. Okay, is equal to list of pins. If I save it, now you will see all the list of pin will display on the screen. Okay, let me check what. Okay, so it's not showing because we need to call this first, right? So here in use effect, we have to call get list of pins, and let's pass empty array when the component load first time. And if you see, the list of pin is displaying on the screen. Let me refresh the ones. Okay, and if you see, the list of pin is displaying. Perfect. So I hope you understand this section as well, right? So if you go to profile right now, only profile pins will show, and if you go to the home page, all the pins will display on the screen. Now, due to the video length, right, it's getting longer, I also implemented the details of this pin, right? If you click on any of this particular pin, for example, if I click on this one, right, it will show you the pin detail, right? If you see, it's beautifully showing the pin detail with the image, the title, the user who added this pin, the link on. If you click on this link, it will open the source of that one, right? And you can go back as well from this arrow. Okay, if I open this one, see how easily it's open, right? So this one is I already added. It's quite simple. It's the layout is similar to what we designed for the create page, right? So let me show you. So I created the one folder called pin the pin slash pin id, right? And if you go to the let me go to the home, and if you open any of this pin, right, you will see the routing. So I create one folder called pin, and inside that I added this another folder with the pin id, and then page.jsx. Okay, in that page.jsx, I added this back button, and then I added the layout. Okay, and it's in the format of grid, and I divided pin image and pin info in two different column. Okay, pin image is straightforward, just displaying pin and making the corner to be rounded. And the pin info, I'm showing on the right hand side what are the information we want, right? For example, the title, the user tag, which I jump passing the user, right? And we already getting the pin detail as well, and then button to open the url. Also, in order to get the pin detail, right, we already have the parameter which we are getting, right? So in this case is this id, and I'm using that id to pass it here to get the document of that particular id. This logic we already implemented for the user, right? A similar one, only just change is the collection, right? The collection name is in this case different, and we are using get doc only, not docs. Okay, we are using get doc because we are only fetching single document, and then we are saving it in a set pin detail, which is the state. Okay, pin detail and set pin detail like this, and that's all. This is how we are going to show the details of the pin. Okay, I hope you understand this one. If you have any question, you can use my source code to work it out. Okay, and as I say, it's completely responsive. Okay, and if you open this one, right, and even though if I decrease screen size, it responsive. Okay, on mobile view it will look like this. Okay, let me go back. Okay, see, perfect. So let me know if you have any questions. Okay, and this is the end of our course. I know it's little bit fast for this Pinterest, but next tutorial will be very interesting, and you will like it, right? So in next tutorial we are building. I'm creating two different course. One is to drag and drop task manager. Second is video streaming application, and another one is the document manager. Okay, so these are the courses is coming up next. So if you did not subscribe to my channel, please subscribe now, and tell your friends to subscribe my channel as well. And if you like this video, press like button. If I get the 150 to 200 likes, I will release the next course immediately. So guys, see you in the next tutorial.